All right, all right, all right. You're listening to the We're Talking Football podcast. I'm Weston. With me, as always, my right hand man, Lou. Is that Grandma Ma?
That's Grandmama.
You like that? Pinpoint that. I don't even know the last time I referenced Larry Johnson, aka Grandma Ma, and you got a bobblehead. And Lou, we are live. So people are seeing
Gotta break up the big
Grandma Ma.
guns.
Here we go. Week 3 in the books. I know we were unable to connect kind of post week 2, difficulty in personal life and scheduling, i.e., you went and saw a poor man's version of a 50 Cent concert, is
What are you
what I'll
talking about?
liken it to.
Maybe it was 50 Cent.
I know it was 50 Cent, but when I
Yeah.
saw some of those videos you put, I know it's coming from a phone, but I was like, God, that sounds different than the 2003 concert I
No,
went
no.
to at Nassau
Oh,
Coliseum of 50 Cent.
that's because you're old. You can't hear as good as you used to, bro. No, all kidding aside, real quick on the 50 Cent concert. It was awesome. Jadakiss came out. Love Jadakiss. It was pretty cool because Jada and him used to have beef back in the day. Busta Rhymes, when he rapped, he was great, but he talked way too much. I felt like it was more of like a lecture or a sermon type of
Yeah.
thing. But 50 Cent still killed it. Also, I don't know if I really wanted to record last week because of the mental anguish that my beloved Chargers put me through playing the fucking Tennessee Titans and losing to them in overtime. So I don't know if I could have put myself through that,
I get it.
for the second week in a row.
I get it. I get it. I totally get it. So, that being said, let's remind everybody it's getting a little bit later in the evening here. Kind of the format around. Well, first and foremost, we are live. If you are viewing this, you want to leave comments, I don't care what it says, we will throw it up there unless like just don't insult us too bad. We'll still throw it up there for a good chuckle. Follow us on. You have to go to YouTube to leave the comments, right? You can if you're doing it through an Instagram stream, something you clicked on Twitter. It's not gonna. The comments aren't gonna come visible to me. So we're here for it. We want to get your take. But a recap of how this weekly format goes down throughout the season. So we'll start with a hot topic or two, something that might have spawned from last week or something that's just kind of been bellowing over time. We'll get into our hometown takes. This week, Lou will talk about Chargers Vikings. I'll talk about Niners Giants. We'll get into our freaking out segment, good or bad, depending upon what's transpiring with teams. Couple bits of information around offensive and defensive players of the week. And then more importantly, we're going to start forward looking. So what are we looking forward to in week 4, whether it's a particular game matchup, position matchup, whatever it might be related to the league. And then we'll run through the schedule. We'll make our predictions. I'll always recap like where we are in terms of like standings and head to head. Just a reminder that Lou is 2-0 in our seasons of doing this when all is said and done. Normally we'd have a little fantasy segment for you. I still feel like it's just like so early in the fantasy season.
Fuck fantasy.
Yeah, I know,
I'm
Lou.
0-3 in our league, and 4 of my starters get hurt in 3 weeks. How's that possible?
3-0 in your league. I'm 3-0. I'm number 1 seed, baby. Most points scored, best record. And I don't even think my team's really that good, but they've been playing well.
It's not.
But I feel your pain because I had in another league, I happen to believe like my team is absurd, but I've yet to. So for 2 consecutive weeks, no Eckler, no Aaron Jones. Richardson, the quarterback's been out concussed. Couldn't play Ayuk this week. A fill-in that I put in got injured in the first quarter, so I was essentially down 5 starters and still almost figured out a way to put up 150 points. Like my team is legit, and this is not a scoring-friendly league. Is what it is, though. All right, so let's jump back. I already just kind of defined what we're talking about. So before we get into the hometown takes, Lou, I have 2 that I want to air out. But do you have anything top of mind with regards to like a hot topic around the league right now, whether it's about a team, a player, a scenario, whatever it might be?
I don't know how we don't really just talk 90 minutes about Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift. So I think my hot topic is, could Travis Kelsey do better than Taylor Swift? That's my hot topic, and I'm going to keep you pass the ball to you, let you discuss that.
No, he can't. Didn't he try one of these stupid dating shows that was like a mock like Bachelor on like some knockoff channel?
It's hard to
And
find love, Weston.
get out of here, bro. The man can walk out of a stadium and find anybody who would crawl on hands and knees. You know what's weird is like, what do two celebrities like that actually talk about?
I
Right?
don't know.
Just how great each of them are. So here's my short answer to your question. No, I don't think Travis Kelce can do better than Taylor Swift. And the other thing is, I literally could care less.
By the way, this was a rhetorical question. I really didn't think you were gonna really run with this. I didn't think we would get this.
Because I forgot, dude, and I forgot how much I got to watch. Well, not really. I'll talk about that in a moment. But I did get to watch, essentially have a stress-free Sunday when it comes to watching the NFL, right? Like my team not playing, already handled on
Must
Thursday,
be
is what
nice.
it
Must
is.
be nice.
But I sat there angry. Like, why is this dude? She became more important than what was actually going on in the field, right? Like
I
the
mean,
camera was going to her every
yeah,
opportunity, and that bothers me. That
yeah.
almost gave me a Jackson Mahomes-esque feel where it annoys me. The people that have nothing to do with the game have a bigger impact on the game and for the viewing audience, and it infuriates me.
I can tell you someone who's more mad than you was Brittany Mahomes, because it
Thunder.
wasn't about it wasn't about her. But I'm hoping, I'm praying to all the gods out there, the old and the new gods, that I know she's not Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift, but I'm hoping she has that like effect on the Chiefs where like
Ruins them.
basically this yes, I'm hoping this is my Hail Mary. Like
Yeah.
this is like the beginning of the downfalls of the Chief with Taylor Swift. I hope
Uh,
she's like a Yoko Ono and he's John Lennon and just breaks him down.
just turns them straight into Kanye West, right? Like,
Yes, I want it. Yes,
that is a great topic, by the way, even if you are being
and
halfway facetious in that
I just shot
proposal.
from the hip, but you
All
put me on
right.
the spot there. Yeah.
All right, I got one for you.
Okay, shoot.
I'm gonna make my statement. I'll let you go with it. I think having two Monday night football games is absolutely trash.
Don't like it. Don't like it one bit.
Why don't you
Uh,
like it?
because I think I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. I just can't tell you why. Why can't we? It's just I think Monday it's prime time, one game.
Yeah,
I'm a traditionalist in that fact, right? I also don't like Thursday night games too. I think it should
me
be
neither.
Sunday and Sunday night, Monday night, boom, that's it. Because every Thursday night game sucks, and the only reason why it's such high viewership is because there's nothing else to watch on Thursday night, right? And I'm just not a fan of the play is poor. So I'm a traditionalist. Just one game Sunday night, one game Monday night.
Yeah, I hate two games Monday night, mainly because they're both nationally televised, right? So there's not a red zone complement
Why
like
not though? Why can't Red Zone do something like that?
they should, right? So I don't have to go back and forth. And then
Yeah.
inevitably, like the appeal for me on Monday night growing up was the crew, right? Like when we were growing up, it
We had
was
some good
Frank
crews.
Gifford, Al Michaels, Dan Deerdorf. Like that was in my lifetime, that was the prime announcing crew for Monday night, right? And I love that, and that was that for years.
Yeah, you're right,
And
man.
and like as much as I don't really care for Joe Buck, like him and Aikman are entertaining. They are knowledgeable. They've been around the game a lot. So to have them on Monday Night Football carries some appeal to it. So whichever game they are not covering, not a knock on any of those analysts. I wish I was analyzing the game and announcing the game, but like Dan Orlovsky or Lewis Riddick are not the same as Joe Buck and
Yeah,
Troy Aikman.
yes. ESPN also has gone downhill like a lot, in my opinion.
Totally. And Spencer here brings up a great point, right? Like, and they overlap like funny, you know what I mean? And like one start, we're on the East Coast. We've become really accustomed to a post 8 p.m. kickoff time.
Yeah.
I that means I can get things done around my house and settle in to watch. You start throwing in this 7 o'clock wrinkle, that just don't work for me. The only way I would be amendable to this, like as a norm go forward, is if they eliminated Thursday night games. So if they
Yeah.
eliminated Thursday night and they wanted to take that team and put two on Monday night, maybe I can get down with it because I think you'd have a better product than you would on Thursday night.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm lockstep with you, bro.
All right. You got any other hot topic? I got maybe one more.
No, that Kelsey Swift.
That was
Pretty much.
hot topic. That
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
fire topic. All right. Sean Payton is intentionally tanking the Denver Broncos. That's my
Okay.
hot
Okay.
topic.
All right. All right. I'm okay. I'm happy you said that. All right. Ready? Hear me out. I don't know if you saw what I put on what I wrote on Twitter, but have you ever played Hearts before?
Yeah.
Well, you know what shooting the moon is?
I don't know by definition, but if you explain it, I
Okay. Okay.
probably
So with
would be
Hearts,
like,
you have in Hearts you have to like win books and stuff.
yeah,
You don't want to win cards. Win books. So basically, if you keep on basically, it's hard to explain, but basically it's like looks like you're losing, you're losing. But then if
yeah,
you lose everything, you
you win.
actually win. It's called shooting the moon.
Yeah.
I haven't played Hearts in a long time, but I feel like the Broncos are losing and losing and losing. We're making fun of like ha 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 ha. And guess what? They're going to get one of these quarterbacks next year. And like, oh shit, that was like kind of planned. Like I didn't see
Yeah.
that coming type of thing. So I literally feel like the Denver Broncos are shooting the moon.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect explanation of what's happening. I think last week it just becomes a little bit more obvious, right? Like, I mean, listen, they lost a close game to Las Vegas, right? Then they lost a really close game to the Commanders. Then they lost 70-20. I'm not misquoting that. They lost by 50 points in an NFL game.
That was
Under
like
normal
me.
circumstances, the entire staff would be rolled. The
Yeah.
entire staff, like you trot out your JV squad for this next game coming up, and I just think I think he knows he's protected based on what they're paying him, gave up to get him. He knows he's there, and what better way to make this go away by just having a repeat performance of the previous year from your quarterback, and
He
and he'll
has
be out of
no
town.
I firmly believe he has no allegiances to Russell
None
Wilson.
whatsoever. He doesn't have
Matt,
allegiance to a single person in that locker room, like,
they try to trade away their two wide receivers, right?
yep,
I feel like this is a way for them to kind of, reset it, reset their franchise with new coach, just suffer the pain and endurance for 1 year, go from there, reboot. And that's just my personal opinion. Um, and I also don't think he likes Russell Wilson. I don't like his personality, how he's more, try like celebrity like type shit. Sean Payton's an old school type of coach, and
yeah,
he wants someone that's like a gym rat. He wants someone that's always in the room, the film room. And I'm not sure how much that is, Russell Wilson nowadays. And I firmly believe this is he's fine with this. He probably, in my opinion, he's like when he accepted the Denver Broncos job because they were jockeying back and forth. He probably was like, "This is my vision. I'll try to win with this group this year, but if all goes to shit,
yeah,
I have no problems restarting this over, and I don't want you guys to have any problems starting this over either."
yeah. I just think like this. He'll never say this out loud, but it couldn't have gotten off to a better start for him based on where
Yeah,
he's trying to take this team to.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
All right. Hometown takes, baby. So Charger fans, get in this room, leave your comments, drop your questions. Lou's going to answer them. I'm going to laugh at them. That being said, Chargers took on the Minnesota Vikings and what was a really good game, in my opinion, at least entertaining to watch.
Every Charger game is a good game.
So here's what's funny about this, dude. I said earlier I almost had a stress-free Sunday of football. No BS. I settle down for the 1:00 games. Actually pour myself a glass of wine. As I take my first sip, I get a phone call from my father, and it's actually an emergency like technician from Costco. My father slipped and fell in
Oh
Costco,
Jesus!
and I had to take him to the hospital. Listen, he's totally fine. Like, yeah, he tweaked a hammy, like in the fall, wet, the weather we had, so the floors were wet in Costco. But it was
What's
purely
it?
like,
What's his status for this Sunday, Weston? Can you give?
oh, dude, he's out for at least a couple weeks. Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
he IR possibly?
yeah.
IR?
He's definitely short-term IR. This is 4-week injury.
Okay. Well, my prayers go up to him. God has a plan and
Yeah,
everything. So prayers
totally.
goes out to
He's healing.
Papa
He's in,
Smith. Yeah.
but the truth is, dude, is like it was all precautionary, right? Like it's like Costco's rules, right? Like to protect themselves, lawsuits, like the whole nine. So they had to send him to the hospital in an ambulance, and he needed somebody to come get him so that he can get back to his car and get home in Costco's parking lot. So I had to go down there and hang out with him. So I watched this game through the YouTube app for the Sunday ticket, sitting in the emergency room of the hospital from my phone. That's how I
Can I
watched this game.
can I tell you something? Even though your father endured, that injury and had to go to the hospital, his Sunday was still much more enjoyable than mine. I gotta tell you, bro.
I mean, I'm sure it was. He got hit with a couple muscle relaxers and some other things. So sure he was
I
floating just
mean, I
fine.
mean, I, I won't divulge, but like, yeah, I mean,
I get it.
we were feeling the same way.
Yeah, I get it. We
All
all
right.
were.
All right. Oh, fuck. Finally, the Chargers. Fucking,
Yeah.
usually the ball bounces a funny way against the Chargers, and finally the ball, fell in a positive way for the Chargers. Totally not expecting that. Totally, that ending was nothing. If you were to tell me the defense helped secure a win against a potent Minnesota Vikings offense, I would tell you're high as a kite. So some of the positive takes I had, from the game. First of all, Herbert was Superman, right?
It was
And
unbelievable.
I gotta be honest with you, I kind of felt like he needed a game like this to shut up the haters and to remind people like, hey, yeah, I'm still that guy. Let's not forget that Herbert is in his fourth or fifth offensive scheme,
Yep.
almost as many years.
In the
So
NFL. Let's not even talk about college on how many he went through there too.
Same exact thing, exactly. So, and you have to understand, none of the starters played, in the preseason. So the fact that this offense has been as potent as it's been is pretty impressive. But he took it to another level, and like he straight up balled out. Like this was like straight up. This is how I play Madden. Like these are like my Madden numbers, man. Um, so but I think he needed this. I think he needed to remind people like, hey, don't forget about me. I know you got the Trevor Lawrences and the Strouds and the Anthony Richardsons, and you're talking about Jalen Hurt. I'm still here. I'm still him, and he needed that. And frankly, I'm not sure you put this under a positive or a negative, but I also kind of think he helped save Staley's job. So it depends who you are. I'm not a Staley truther, so I might file that as a negative. He basically bailed out, Staley, for his immaculate performance this past Sunday. But it was refreshing, to see that the defense showed some signs of life. And like I said, we'll take baby steps right now, which is insane that we're talking about this year 3 into Staley's scheme, that we have to celebrate the minor victories of this defense. You think there's been no turnover from a negative standpoint with this roster, and you think they'd be more, more prepared, or just better put together, but they're not. So we got to celebrate the minor victories. So they forced a couple of turnovers, which was fantastic. They got fucking jobbed on one too, by the way. Don't understand if you see that play where they ripped the ball out and they said they blew it dead. And it was like that play was trending on Twitter. It was straight up ridiculous. So awful play there. So yeah, love the fact that for this time it was finally the defense that helped Herbert out and secured a win. It's supposed to Herbert being have to play hero ball, but the one person I do want to really acknowledge is their rookie second round pick, Tuli. I don't know how to say his last name. I'm gonna butcher it, but like
Tui Pilotu.
Tuli Pilotu. I actually don't think that's terrible. It
No, that's pretty close. I think you added an extra L in there, but it flowed off the tongue real nice.
You know how Italians do.
Yeah.
We add stuff. We subtract. Thirds of words and stuff like that. So no, but he balled out. He had nine pressures, 4 quarterback hits, and a sack. Him and Bosa have been forming an awesome duo on the same side. It's crazy, and he just turned 21 too. This kid. So the fact that he's having such an impact, in such an important game shows you the maturity and also the skill set. He's a high motor. He's really strong, a little raw from, move standpoint, but he always finds the ball. He leads all rookie edge rushers in pressures and sacks and run stops, and he just had himself a game on Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. So it's refreshing because Bosa, it's just good to see that they have another running mate with Bosa. And right now, Mac has not, has been a little, I mean, I don't want to say it, but I think Mac's best days are behind him. And maybe he can still bring something to the table from a run stopping standpoint. But it's good to have, the more pass rushers you have, the better it is to get one-on-one matchups. And then now the fact that they have 3 that can get to the quarterback, some teams don't even have that. So I thought that was from the positive standpoint. Negative standpoint, glass half empty, which I feel so comfortable talking about because that's who I am as a person and as a fan, right?
You can put the notes away and just rattle it off.
Yeah. I'm like, all right. So from a negative standpoint, this defense still bends way too much, and they're still making the same mistakes over and over again. They still giving up those explosive plays. I thought they did a pretty good job of keeping, Minnesota in check on first and second downs. But the third downs, whether it's giving up, big pass plays or even penalties, that really I felt like, killed them. They had a bunch of penalties, and just there's nothing worse than a third down penalty. I'm not saying there's a great time to ever get a penalty, but third down penalties are killers, right? So, yes, the defense is still an issue, but they showed improvement. They were swarming to the ball. Kenneth Murray, once again, build upon his last week, a good game he had against the Titans, and had a decent game. Everyone's going to laud him for the interception he had, the game-winning interception, and he has some good plays, but there's still a lot to be, like there from his play. He's very inconsistent. And let's not forget about this rushing attack. I said Herbert was Superman. He had to be. They couldn't run the ball against the Minnesota Vikings. They averaged 2 yards per carry, extremely frustrating. I'm sure myself and a lot of other people thought, they would have a better day on the ground against the Minnesota Vikings because they're not a vaunted defense, right? And I'm sure Josh. I mean, do you know how many text messages I got on Sunday? Josh Kelly is a bum. Like I was a GM and drafted.
You drafted him, and yeah.
And I'm Kellen Moore. I'm calling the plays. And I'm like, yeah, let's do Wham. So there's not. I'm like, yeah, he's a fucking bum. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so they just couldn't get going. Hopefully that changes this week against the Raiders. But those are my 2 cents, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I think, unfortunate what happened with Mike Williams as well, right? Torn ACL out the season. That hurts. He was having a good game.
As a Charger fan, you're expecting it.
You do, but you just
this is where you have the rebirth of like the Keenan Allen come out. You know how Keenan Allen, he didn't start the season his rookie year. It took him, I think, like 7 games to get into that lineup with injuries and what have you because they had more veteran players. So I don't think this week I still think Quentin Johnston will still be a little slow, but after the bye, I'm really forecasting him having a bigger role in this offense.
Yeah, when I go back to Mike, yes, he's often injured for sure. But God, when he's out there, his production is like undeniable. You know what I mean? Like, what, 7 for 121 and a touch, like before he went down, like that's production. I think positives is like, welcome back, number 13. We haven't seen that version of you in quite some time. 18 catches, 215 yards. On 20 targets. It's
very efficient.
Yeah.
How can you be efficient with 20 targets as a wide? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. 12 yards a catch, right? Like it was.
Can I tell you why they balled out? What's really refreshing, and I should have mentioned this in my positives, Weston. Kellen Moore is not a play caller. He's a game caller.
Yeah.
There are things he does that sets
he adjusts, man.
But there are things he does. He shows the defense, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. And then there's variations of that same exact play to set them up for explosive plays.
Yep.
What was the issue last year? The offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi, was, Joe Sticks Lombardi. Sticks. Go to the 6, turn around, catch, try to make someone miss you. Kellen Moore is so refreshing because he calls games. Yep. He's not a play caller. And even if it doesn't work, 3 yard, he's setting you up for something down the road. And that's refreshing. And that's where you can see the explosive. There's finally some explosiveness to this offense that ranks second, I think, against only to the Miami Dolphins in explosive plays. So that's refreshing too.
Look on your screen, Lou.
Yeah, who's a better couple? What does it mean? Who's a better couple?
Wait. He follows it up with.
I mean, we heard Weston.
Thanks for arriving, but we started the show talking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
For our diehard fans, I'm telling you right now, we've heard Weston sing, and it's definitely Kelce and Swift.
Yeah. Real quick though, like on a serious note, back to your point about Kellen Moore. You see this from the good, the good and great OCs and play callers is they're not disturbed when a play that they call might go for no yards, right? They're not looking to call or score a touchdown on every single play call. Some of it is setting up just to see how the defense how's the defense going to react. Got it earmarked for later, right? That backer is going to fly up and I'm going to drop somebody behind him the next time when I show the exact same formation, the exact same splits. That's a gamer, right? Like you said, you're calling to the flow of a game, but you're doing it off of your own play call and your own call sheet. So I agree. I thought it was a great win. It was it was a must-win game for the Chargers. It was. Dude, you couldn't start 0-3.
If they lost, I was looking up draft prospects already.
Yeah, dude, you could not start this season 0-3. Like, there's just no way. You know what I mean? That being said, if you're a fan of quarterback play, this was the game to watch. Like, outside of Cousins' pick at the end of the game, right? Like trying to come down and win it. I mean, dude, he was 32 of 50, right? For 367 yards and 3 touchdowns and didn't throw a pick until the final minute of the game.
Yeah, defense was optional in this game.
But that's what the league, like, this is what the NFL wants the viewing public to see, is just QBs at their finest. I mean, dude, Justin Herbert he threw 47 passes.
You're killing me, man.
You're 85% of those passes.
The first person in history to do that, by the way, to complete 85% of his passes with 45 passes or more. And you are literally killing my segment that we're going to have a little later on. So I think we should digress.
We'll digress.
Put a pin in it.
Digress.
And let's talk
I agree with the comment here. I mean, that might be the most elite power couple I've ever seen. I'm just saying.
Do you guys have like a name together? Like J-Lo and Ben, Benifer?
No, but I'll stew on it and maybe that'll be a nice surprise for next week. We don't.
Yeah, I think I need a nickname for you too.
I mean, true power couples don't need it. You know what I mean? All that stuff's for marketing and publicity. We just do us,
Yeah.
All right. Niners Giants Thursday night game. Lou, believe it or not, I don't have a ton to say about this. It's a win.
I don't believe that at all.
No. Listen, it's a win, right? I hate Thursday night games. I don't ever want my team playing in a Thursday night game, right? Like I want nothing to do with it. But the truth is like, they did what they were supposed to do to a wounded opponent that limped in, on a Thursday night on a short week where they stayed out on the West Coast. If I had any bad in this, it didn't start pretty for like Brock. I mean, yes, the first drive we went 15 plays.
Time out.
Yeah.
You totally missed a fantastic opportunity. That's such a great pun. It didn't start Purdy. You had a great and you totally dropped it, bro. But go ahead.
All right, I suck. Let's start over. I'm going to stop the live recording and we'll come back.
All right, so we're talking football.
Yeah. Let me play that intro real quick. So the truth is like it first drive, 15 plays. They walked away with 3 points, whatever it is. Brock had a couple errant throws where, thank God your wide receivers are paying attention and batted the balls down so that they weren't intercepted, etc. But after that, man, everything settled in exactly the way it was supposed to. I mean, they controlled this game so well. I mean, dude, the time of possession was doubled, right? You're talking 40 minutes to 20 minutes time of possession. Held the Giants to 100. And yes, I know they were minus Saquon, etc. So the expectations were minimal, but held them to 150 total yards of offense. You've all seen, actually, somebody who's might still be in the lobby, might not be, sent me, a text earlier with, you saw Daniel Jones like eyes the one time, right, when he was looking at the defense. Um, it's yes, Kittle is that guy. He's still that guy. He played better defense than he did offense in this game. I don't know if you saw this, Lou, but
He
like,
dropped the two. Not yeah, like he good linebacker. He'd be a good
bro,
linebacker. Just dropping the
my
coverage.
favorite was he knocked the ball away from the defensive back and turned and looked at the defensive back and put the straps on. Like he looked
Yeah.
at him and went like this. I was like, yo, you're the man, dude. Just somebody out there having fun. But the truth is like 18-point W against a team that you were favored to beat by 10 points. You did what you're supposed to. Debo looks like he's playing at 2021 Debo, versus 2022 version of Debo. Christian McCaffrey just
Yo, Chris,
he's so good, dude. He's just so good.
Such a difference maker.
Bro,
Such
he is the biggest impact on this offense. It's not the play of Brock Purdy. It is the consistency and play from Christian McCaffrey. He just makes it happen from all over the field. He's just a yards machine, finds the end zone.
great vision.
Steph and I do that Monday night where we like recap and we talk about like players of the week. We went all of this week or this last episode without even mentioning Christian McCaffrey. I had to come back and be like, what's crazy is we didn't even talk about him because like it felt like a light game from him. And you're talking about 100 plus yards from scrimmage, a touchdown, like game-changing plays. And it didn't even feel like it stood out, but he is.
There's only one elite. Knock. There's only one knock on him.
Don't even say it out loud,
okay,
dude, because I don't want to be snake bitten by this, but you're right. You are right. I know that knock. It has plagued him, but hopefully
he's a Virgo.
He's a Virgo. Exactly. But that's it, man. Right? 3-0. Love it. It's funny because like the 49ers have been the model of consistency right now. 30 points in week 1, 30 points in week 2, 30 points in week 3. I would argue that week 2 and week 3 weren't perfect games. A lot of points left out there. You can point to struggles throughout the game, but you're still scoring 30 points.
It's so crazy.
Like, show me where the issue is,
It's so crazy how you're right. They have been a model of consistency where their offseason was anything but.
Oh my God, dude, a nightmare.
And that's just probably Shanahan like literally stirring the pot, which I'm a huge supporter of shit stirs. So it's just crazy seeing that. And you're right. You can't talk, when you come away looking at that Giants Niners game from last Thursday, it was a relaxing game. It's like in no way, shape, or form did you feel like threatened by the Giants. You might have been like, they're like still sticking around. But like you never felt like there wasn't that pit in your stomach, like, all right, waiting for the other shoe to drop type shit. So.
Never. And you knew they were wounded enough that like even if the unthinkable happened earlier in this game, like it was never going to be a big enough hole that you couldn't climb out of it. Like the way they limped in, these aren't two teams that belong on the same playing field right now. It's just that simple, and it's sad because the Giants were a playoff team a year ago, right? And if anything, there's been more additions to that existing team than there has been subtractions. I don't even know if it made a difference if Saquon was there. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Maybe they would have covered the spread, but like late touchdown. Listen, I think that last year the Giants were playing with fool's gold. And that's not a knock towards them. I'm sure a lot of Giant fans would think that.
But we said they were years ahead of what we expected for sure.
You had to take into the fact that they found their coach.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't feel that way right now, right? Like you see a different Dable running up and down the sidelines. I'll let you know on Monday night because I'm going to the game against Seattle. I'll let you know what it looks like.
Okay.
All right. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out.
What are you freaking out about, dude?
All right.
Or who should be freaking out?
Let's scroll to my list over here. You know what? It pains me, but I'm going to start with the positive. I know I'm a glass half empty guy, but let me start with the positive. Pains me to do this, Weston. Got to be the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, gosh.
As a Charger fan, this is hard for me to say, but what they have done they are rolling on all cylinders from an offensive standpoint. And what I mean by that, yeah, you expected their passing game offense to be elite, right? Because you have Waddle, you have Hill, right? But shit,
They're running the ball.
if they start, I know McDaniels, that's was his bread. McDaniel,
Yep.
that was his bread and butter. I know, I get that. So you're like, yeah, well, Louis can't. That was his bread and butter, the run game. But they really didn't have the horses to do so.
Yeah.
Last year, and Mostert, if he's healthy in this scheme, it's gonna be fantastic. And they got another young kid there too for I think what Texas A&M. I think if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know. Still don't have know the correct pronunciation of his last name, but I know his first name pretty confidently.
Yeah. Devon Achane, I think.
I don't know.
I think it's Achane or Achane. I think it's Achane. I'm gonna call him Achane.
I think they updated, like he updated it, like where the E is not really pronounced.
Yeah.
So
I don't care. Whatever. Regardless,
you can call yourself whatever you want when you go.
That's going to be if they really can consistently run the ball and help because their offensive line is not good. So if they can consistently run the ball, take pressure off of the offensive line, also keep the back end of defenses guessing and moving up. Man, that's going to be really, really scary. The caveat, though, I am a Chargers fan, so I will throw shade to the Dolphins. Their defense hasn't done shit.
I know, and that's surprising under Vic Fangio, right?
Their defense has yet to prove that they can stop anyone, really. Yep. And I'm not considering the New England Patriots anyone.
Lou, I'm leaving this comment up because what gives me pleasure in watching the Miami Dolphins right now, and I was the biggest detractor of number one, right? Like that, is the manner in which they're deploying this offense, where they are being successful, and some of the players that are actually contributing to that success are former 49er legends, right? Raheem Mostert, River Craycraft is getting burned. Mike McDaniel. Do you watch this guy? He's like a 15-year-old kid running around the field.
I hate McDaniel.
I know a lot of people do. I love him. He's so eccentric. He's quirky. But I love seeing the guys that come from my team that I actually liked, right? And rooted for and had investing interest in perform. So, I mean, Miami's going to be tough, man. I honestly, as good as the 49ers looking right now, as talented as we know the Eagles are and the Chiefs are going to be, it's hard to contest that the Miami Dolphins ain't the hottest team in football right now.
Yeah, I agree.
It's hard. All right.
How about yourself, Weston? Who are you freaking out? Are you going negative or are you starting positive here?
I think one of mine's is a hybrid. So I'll start with the hybrid.
Oh, like a sativa hybrid.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, I get this.
So the reason let me put the negative or the positive on this. I'll start with the positive spin on this is, I mean, by all intents and purposes, walking into the season, they were all but declared the number one pick in the draft next year, right? Especially based on the behavior leading into the season, trading away people, your starting quarterback, your franchise quarterback probably is not even going to play this year, right? The guy you bring in
playing this year.
What's that?
He's playing this year. Dobbs.
Well, yeah. You're stealing my thunder. The guy who is playing and starting for you brought in 3 days, literally before the season started. That was a third string on other teams. So you're winning games, or you won a game and you've been in games competitively all through the first 3 weeks, bodes well for the team. The negative element of this is what are you doing? That wasn't the blueprint. That wasn't the plan. If I'm a Cardinal fan and we're starting the season, I'm look, I'm mailing it in. I'll still show up to the games. I'll have nice, relaxing Sundays, no expectations, and then we pick number one overall and we reset this franchise potentially down the line, right? New head coach. He'll get the quarterback he wants, blah, 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 blah. He'll shore up the defense. Now you are going to, you're winning games. You're setting expectations. You went ahead and beat the Dallas Cowboys you were told were going to mollywop you up and down the field. And the exact inverse happened during that game.
It's great not to play with any expectations or pressure on you.
Well, that's what's crazy is when you play with nothing to lose, you're the most dangerous team on the field. You're the most dangerous team on the field. That's when fake punts and trick
start
plays
message.
fun, It's wild. So for me, it's the Arizona Cardinals.
I love
I
that you
would,
do that too, because I feel like everyone shitted on their new head coach because of
yeah,
how like awkward he is and everything, right? So I love he's having these guys he's coming out competing and playing because you got to think about it, after all the moves they made, Weston, right? If you're in that locker room, how do you get pumped up to play a
that's
game?
what I'm saying.
Like you know what I'm saying? You realize like, hey, I'm a part of this rebuild. I might not be part of the long-term plans, or this is just gonna it's hard to keep your head in the game. So for him to keep them focused and motivated for the first 3 weeks is pretty impressive.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. You got another?
I'll do a negative one, and we alluded to them before. The Minnesota Vikings. Here you are. You know, you had a fantastic year last year, albeit though, I will say it might have been gold plated, not real gold last year. But you had a fantastic, year last year. And now your division loses Aaron Rodgers. And also your division, the Chicago Bears are not that team. That quarterback, Justin Fields, is not, they're no longer a threat.
Yep.
Right. So this is it. This was supposed to be like kind of a walk in the park, year type of, for you. The only threat were the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions, they're a joke, right? Come on, it's Detroit. They ain't going to be serious. And now they're 0-3, Minnesota Vikings. This is a big problem because they finally got rid of their King Slayer and Aaron Rodgers, and this is supposed to be easily now this year, their year to shine, and it's not happening. So now where do they go from here? Realistically, if they start losing more games, do they pack it up and be like, all right, who wants Kirk Cousins? This is last year of a deal, right? Jets, I know Robert Saleh is desperate, do they try, do they, interesting to see like, wow, are the Minnesota Vikings on the precipice of tearing it down? Because they're 0-3.
Yeah,
And
it's like
hard,
hard.
and then now it becomes just like mathematics now. It's like teams that start 0-3, and I get we added another game, so maybe it's a little skewed because we have more games, now than we did before. But 0-3, it's going to be really, really, the odds are not in your favor.
Yeah. No, they're not. I think I remember looking this up last year. Like something like statistically, like less than 15% of teams that start 0-3 ever even make the playoffs, right? And I know they haven't gotten into divisional play really just yet, but it's an issue starting 0-3, right? And it's going to start to, I don't foresee them moving on from the coach, right? He's had
I
success
don't think he's
there.
a bad coach
No, I don't
either.
think so at all either. You're clearly not moving on from Justin Jefferson, who's arguably the best receiver in football right now, So it's this is most likely Kirk's last hurrah there, right? He's going to be their most valuable asset to potentially move in season, or I believe he's a free agent at the end of the season.
I think
So
so too, yeah.
yeah, so if you're going to move him, you got to move him in 3 weeks before the trade deadline is what it really comes down to. So,
Yep.
all right.
What about you? Do you have any more or no?
Well, I just want to address the commenter. Thank you for your comment. Hey, as we sit week 3, that is the most likely matchup at the end of week 3 for your Super Bowl.
I think it's way too early to even
Well,
think about that.
no. At the moment, read the question. At the moment of this recording, yes, those two teams are playing the best football, and they are in opposite conferences.
Yep.
Therefore, they would collide. All right, last one. I had the Vikings too, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The Dallas Cowboys. Every year, it's them boys. It's their year. And this is for 30 years, right? But it's their year. I'm not trying to overreact to a single loss, right? In what arguably could have been a trap game. You're on the road, an inferior opponent. You probably thought you were going to go in and cruise. But this plants doubt, right? And it plants doubt because it's actually coming off the heels of losing a very dynamic defensive player in Trayvon Diggs, right? And losing him for the year, tears his ACL in practice.
Do
and
they,
then you
do,
go
do you
into
think they want to? Do you think they want to slightly use J.C. Jackson?
I think if you made the call yourself to Jerry Jones, he'd jump at it, right? And he's always a big splash name kind of guy, And you went and lost to a team that traded away half their team. Their best player on defense is on the IR. We talked about Josh Dobbs in the starting quarterback scenario. And then Dak did a Dak thing, at the end of the game with an opportunity to go ahead and, and salvage what was a pretty poor performance offensively for the Cowboys. And he threw that interception at the end of the game. I'm not saying it's the end of the world. I still think the Cowboys are a playoff team when all is said and done based on the talent, especially on that defense, even minus Trayvon Diggs. But this starts the game, right? This starts the questions and the commentaries. This starts the Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless banter that we all love so much. It just starts. And Cowboy fans, I know you're tired of it. I know once that doubt creeps in, like a loss for the Cowboys is looms so much larger than it does for an ordinary team, just based on the fan base and the following. And this one stings a little bit more than if they were to lose to the Philadelphia Eagles or to the 49ers or to a competent NFL team.
See, I'm going to disagree with you here. Obviously, you know how bullish I am with the Cowboys. I have them actually going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I just think it's one of those games that, first of all, the first month of football is really weird. You have teams that are playing out of their ass. You have teams that haven't, got out of their own way. So I think the first month of football is a little weird. I just feel like it's one of those games like last year, the Chiefs, when they lost to the Colts. You see, I told you Tyreek Hill was a big loss for them. I just think there's too much talent on that, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I just think it's one of those games, like you said, it was a trap game and they played down to the competition. If anything, I think it could be a positive thing for them to like shake them up and like smack them around. I actually think this is a better loss than if it was one of those other teams, the Philadelphia Eagles or what have you, because like that would start, collecting doubt. Like this is supposed to be our year, and we already lost to the Eagles type stuff. So I think you just basically take this tape, you put a little lighter fluid on it, you get that match, you light it, and you throw that match on there, you burn it, and say on to next week.
I don't disagree with that sentiment, right? Like you can easily chalk this up as to one of those games, right? Everybody has a dud, right? And it could have been a dud. What might have hurt a little bit more is losing to a superior team where you're like, we're not there yet. That becomes harder to get over than losing to a shit team, even though losing to a shit team sucks. All right. Lou, real quick, couple offensive, defensive players of the week. I'm just mindful of the clock, and then we'll kind of stride forward. Offensively, who's your offensive player of the week?
I'm going with those Bolt boys. LA Chargers. Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen. Justin Herbert, 40 out of 47. Like I said, 85% passing completion, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 93.2 QBR, 123.8 rating. Keenan Allen. There's one stat you forgot about Keenan Allen. Yeah, he caught 18 passes on 20 targets for 215 yards and averaged 11.9 yards per catch. But he also threw a 49-yard pass for a touchdown.
Yeah, you're right.
He's 1 for 1.
I know.
Yeah, no lie.
The Hall of Fame right now, baby.
Sources tell me that after seeing that, the New York Jets contacted the Chargers to see if Keenan Allen is available for trade to play for quarterback.
All right, I'll see your bolts and I'll raise you fins. So I only had 4 players here. You know what was funny about this week is like it wasn't that difficult to choose because I feel like there was a couple super solid performances. Normally it's more of like pick your poison because there's always going to be that one a handful of receivers that went off, a handful of running backs that scored multiple touchdowns, QBs thrown for 3. But we'll start with Devin, still learning how to pronounce the last name, 203 yards on the ground, 2 TDs, 30 yards receiving, 2 TDs, seemingly coming out of nowhere. And then Tua, we talked about it earlier. While the stat line in terms of just like yards and TDs, he threw 1 more touchdown, but basically 100 less yards and attempted to throw 21 less times. But at the end of the day, his completion percentage was 88%, and his team won by 50 points in an NFL game. This is not Alabama playing a 1AA opponent, right? These are 2 NFL. One who is literally quarterbacked by a former Super Bowl winner and coached by a former Super Bowl winner who's the highest paid coach in the NFL. And they lost by 50 points.
Are you a Tua believer yet? A little bit, like starting.
No. I mean, yes.
Ah,
Let me correct that.
You are
I
a
said this
stubborn
in
bastard.
no. Because I said this in week 1. Like,
If he
yes,
stays healthy, I know. But
but
his
it's the
game,
ultimate caveat
his game. Are you a believer in the game, not the player, but his game?
in his game. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
I think
180.
he
All
found
right.
he is now in the right scheme that fits
Mhm.
his talents the best.
Okay.
All right, defense. What do you got?
All right. You know what? I'm very picky who I give my. You need to have some crooked numbers out there for those important stats: the sacks, the interceptions, the tackles. And I don't get out of bed for anything less than 3. Right.
Yep.
And there's a couple of guys that has some impressive. I'm gonna let you take probably the one that you think I'm going to take. I'm going Kyle Hamilton out of the Baltimore Ravens. He had 9 tackles, all right, and 3 sacks. Pretty good as a safety.
Yeah.
3 sacks as a safety. Now that's a year for some safeties.
Yeah.
So very impressive play by Kyle Hamilton. The former Notre Dame safety.
Yeah, no, he had a hell of a game. I'll take the obvious one, Myles Garrett. 3.5
Yeah.
sacks, 3 tackles for a loss,
He's
5
balling.
quarterback hits.
He's balling this year.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty hard to keep him out of defense.
When you have a guy doing crossovers, on like centers and shit, this guy's he's combining sports now. He's combining sports now.
I know. You know what, man? Cleveland's defense as a whole is playing football right now. Like,
it's that Schwartz effect.
Yeah, Jim Schwartz is a difference maker for sure.
Everywhere he goes, from a defensive standpoint, they step up their game.
You got anybody else?
You know what? Yeah, Rashawn Gary, 3-sack game.
I
also have
that's
one
your
other guy.
threshold.
Yeah, 3 sacks. I'll get out of bed for 3 sacks.
Yeah, my other one is Levi Wallace.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a 6 tackle game, 4 passes defense, 2 picks. For me, like you said, crooked numbers. I start seeing multiple interceptions in a game from a DB.
I still want that.
I find that sexy. I find that real sexy when I see multiple picks from the same DB.
Real quick, AJ Epinesa. Yeah, sorry. He had a sack, interception, and a touchdown. I like when you fill up categories.
He filled up every single box throughout.
Yeah, just the bare minimum.
He had literally one of everything.
That's
but
fine.
He checked the
that's
columns.
fine. But the fact that he did all, I'm cool with that.
All right. This week coming up, what intrigues you the most?
Got a boatload of battles, like divisional game battles. I'm gonna save the low hanging fruit, for you. I'm just trying to be a gentleman. This is a new Lou, right? New Lou. Right?
Lou,
I'm gonna say the battle of the NFC North. You got the 2-1 Lions versus the 2-1 Packers. I love the fact. I know it's a Thursday night game. We're not big fans of it, but hey, you finally got 2 good teams playing for something, and I'm hoping the Lions are here to stay because I like the change in the narrative. I like seeing teams that have been bad for so long, starting to change. That weather, that tide right there. So I think that's going to be a really interesting game, and for me, that's going to show me are the Lions for real because they're going to Lambeau.
Yep. On
a short week against a decent defensively Green Bay Packer team. So I'm going to say that's what I'm looking for because you go up and down the slate, they're all great divisional games.
Yeah, totally. I try to simplify this. Normally I have like 4 or 5 games, right? And I kept this to 2. That was one of them.
I know.
And I think Detroit drew I don't know how to phrase this either. They drew the right end of this equation because they're traveling to Lambeau outdoors is not an elements game, right? It is in September.
Yeah.
That's like, imagine being a Thursday night game or any day or any night game when you get into December. Dude, I've been there in January. It's different. That cold is different, especially for a team that plays like in a dome like the Detroit Lions do. So I'm actually very excited to watch football tomorrow night, the Thursday night game. The other one for me is probably on your list as well. It's Miami Dolphins, coming up to Buffalo. Again, good for Miami not having to go into Buffalo in late November, December, early January. They draw it early in the season. But right now, Lou, these are two of the big boys in the AFC, and
How's this game not a primetime game?
I don't understand because they can't flex yet. I don't even know how.
But
But
come on, you see this on the schedule.
I know.
It's a primetime game.
Here's the thing, right? Miami is humming, right? Like they are humming after last performance. Buffalo still feels a little off to me. It feels.
Didn't they just beat the 2-0 Commanders by like 37-3?
Yeah.
And had like 7 sacks. Just saying. How
Slow down.
you Niner fans have such high expectations. You are
no. To me, when I watch the game,
no, you're right.
It's like the Josh Allen effect right now. Like it still feels like he is approaching this like he has to win every play, every down, right? And it's got to be all glory all the time. This game might humble that. It could. Now the difference is you and I were talking about it before, like Miami's defense is certainly not on the same page as their offense right now, right? So
let's say this game is like 34-34, right?
Yep.
And Buffalo's is the last to have the ball. I wouldn't feel confident if I was a Miami Dolphin fan for them to
I wouldn't either. Listen,
when has the Dolphins? They stopped the Chargers. Yeah, they did, but like the Chargers put up 30. 30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
totally. Yeah. I think if Miami really wants to jump off the charts, this needs to be like a statement W, right? Like more than one score in their house. I think that's the type of game. That's what Mike McDaniel wants. I promise you that. And that's what he's going to be coaching to. So I would expect Miami to pull all of the stunts, especially with this game on the road. But those are the two games that I got outside of my own team, of course. You know what I mean? All right. Let's get into the schedule, Lou. It's that time. So let me bring it up. Let's recap real quick. So we picked week 2. We didn't pick week 1. We picked week 2. We did not pick week 3. So we have one week in the books, and we were both 10-6. We had only 2 games different. We split the difference, right? So we were both 10-6. That leaves us for 10-6 on the year. And let's start with Thursday night's game, the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers.
I'm going to defer to you first. It's your Lions, so I feel like you should pick your.
I am taking my Lions in Lambeau.
I am too, and let me tell you why. I just feel like I know Green Bay beat the Saints, but they beat a Jameis Winston Saints.
Yeah, Derek Carr less.
Yeah, I'm not saying Derek Carr is
but when Derek Carr was in the game, that wasn't a game.
So I'm gonna say give me the Lions.
So I was telling you about my father, right? And I was only watching your game. So on the drive home, it's freaking monsooning here, as I'm trying to drive from Brick back to Red Bank. And so I wasn't really looking at my phone and updates, and I get back in right at the start of the 4:00 games, or maybe right after the 4:25 kickoff. And I'm like, the Packers won that game. They were losing 17-3 when I last checked in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They're going to have to play a better game if they want to beat the Detroit Lions in a division game. And
they are getting some help back. They're getting Christian Watson back.
Hopefully Aaron Jones for my fantasy football purposes, because God, he hasn't seen the field yet. Which is,
you know what, they are a different.
Is Eckler playing this week, by the way, dude?
Man, he practiced today, limited.
He better get in this freaking game, dude. I need his production. All right, so we both got Lions.
No.
All right, Falcons at the Jaguars.
Give me the Jaguars. I know they haven't looked right, especially from a defensive standpoint. But I just think they're close.
Yeah.
I think they're close.
This is in London, mind you. So an early wake up at Wembley Stadium, which I enjoy that because I'm up. We got young kids. I'm up early on Sundays anyway, right? So this is
I'm usually for me. I'll sleep in.
Not me. I haven't slept in 20 years, dude. That being said, this is a must win for Jacksonville. The way they've this season I know the big win. Excuse me. I almost confused Detroit and Jacksonville beating Kansas City week 1. I apologize for
Mhm.
that, but they need to win this game against an inferior opponent. They have to. Like,
Yeah, and Atlanta hasn't really wowed me. Ritter is not that guy. I don't
no.
know. I don't know what made them. You know what? The Falcons should be knocking on Minnesota Vikings door for
They got
Cousins.
some talent, man. They can't, like, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and
Kyle Pitts
can't
isn't
get the
doing
ball
shit.
to him.
We mean he can't. That's you're offensive minded coach. You can't.
I'm saying
play.
but have they? I can tell you because I have Kyle Pitts on 2 fantasy football teams. They have not gotten the football to him. I'm telling you right now. You know what I mean? Like, got to figure out a better way. All right. Miami at Buffalo.
Oof, I think it's your turn. You go. We go every other.
I'm going to take the Bills at home.
Give me the Dolphins. I think that running game. Two things. They put a lot of tape out there for the Buffalo to really
Yeah. What do you stop? What are you going to take away?
Yeah, I think. And you said before, Buffalo looks like you're just going for a gut feeling here. You're just thinking like past narratives. Right now, I gotta say, the Dolphins.
Okay, there we go.
I'm not confident in that, but
no, I don't. Nothing to be not confident about. I mean, Jesus, they're probably the number 1 ranked team in the NFL right now. But they got to go on the road, division opponent. I get it. So I'm just throwing a little asterisk so I can mark how many games we have different. Denver at Chicago.
Can I say they tie?
Say the stadium implodes upon kickoff.
Weston, since Justin Fields has been drafted in the NFL, what has my sentiment been?
Not good.
I never thought it.
Nope.
I never was confident in his ability. I always said he's a poor decision maker, slow processor, and I can't believe it's not what. Unless you remember his rookie year after his first preseason game, where he's like, "The NFL's easy." How come that quote? That's
not played every week when he's doing a press conference.
Yeah, like I don't get it. Well, I'm not sure why this guy is getting so much flack. Not flack, so much like leeway here. Give me the Denver Broncos. When you get whooped that bad, I usually feel like the next week should be way better.
Yeah, even I got to take Broncos too, just because even though Sean Payton's master plan is in full effect, he's got to save face a little bit and rebound from getting whopped by 50 points in the NFL. I can't stress that enough. In the NFL, you lost by 50 points. Like that
was like me and you playing Madden back in the day.
Yeah, where I would win by 50. I totally fucking get it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. Ravens, Browns.
Ooh. Ravens, Browns. It's in Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
Give me the Browns. I just think the
defense is too much right now, man.
Yeah, the offense is sluggish.
And this kid Ford?
Nah, he wasn't efficient. I know he had he had 10 carries, 18 yards. I know he caught a pass for a long pass, but
dude, they're gonna be all right. And will they get Kareem Hunt in the wrinkle this week?
He played last week.
All right, so another week back, right? Getting his sea legs underneath him.
Yeah, he's already hurt.
I just don't like what Baltimore's doing offensively. When you have to depend on Lamar Jackson running for over 100 yards a week after week after week, like cool for my fantasy football teams, not good for your real team.
They need to be knocking on the Colts door and be like, "Yo, so Jonathan Taylor."
Yeah. They got snake bitten. J.K. Dobbins going down is a big loss, and then
man, he was never. I was huge on Dobbins, but he's always been hurt, and he's never shown anything.
Yeah. Okay. Bengals at Titans.
Give me the Bengals.
I gotta take the Bengals too, man. But this is more about how bad the Titans look right now. Because the Bengals don't look good either. They're not convinced. I know Burrow's hobbled.
Their defense looks good.
Yeah, but like this team is about their offense. You know what I mean? Like, and in the conference you play in, you gotta score 30 points. You know what I mean? Like against some of these teams, and it's laboring. You know?
Yeah.
The Rams at the Colts. I think Richardson's going to play this weekend.
Yes. So who do you got there?
I'm going to take the Colts. I know it's in a dome versus Stafford, but like you know, Reich's got them. What's his name? I almost called him Reich. That was start. What's the Eagles OC? Shesterkin? No, that's the New York Rangers hockey goalie. Steichen. That's it. Shane Steichen. He's got them believing, man. And listen, they played a really good game with Gardner Minshew. Like it's almost like, hey, is Richardson's a wild card though, man.
Give me the Rams.
All
I
right.
think him coming in and out of the lineup
disrupts it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in Los Angeles or no?
It's in Indy.
That doesn't matter.
All right. Doesn't matter. So watch fucking ask.
I just want to be a dick.
All right. Well, I mean, you were before we even logged in here. So what are you worried about that for too? Tampa Bay at New Orleans.
Give me Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Listen. No car, no thank you. Right?
You don't believe the Jameis revenge game though? I thought you were really gonna.
No, I'm not a big revenge game guy.
I'm a huge revenge game guy.
Yeah, we got somebody who agrees with us. Tampa Bay. You gotta bless these listeners for hanging with us, Lou, through all. Want to tell the one, go to bed, make sure our children are okay.
And he's gonna be like, wrap this up.
Get up here now. Walker's crying. I totally get it.
Your son crying, not mine, yours.
Yeah. This one is mine, dude. He definitely behaves like his dad.
Okay.
Washington.
What's going on there,
Weston? Washington at the Eagles.
Oh, of course. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah. I so badly want to pick Washington, but
I saw something crazy that, like, Howell's on pace to get sacked 107 times this year.
That's wild.
That is insane. And by the way, you got the Philadelphia Eagles front four coming after you. Oh, okay. That's the kiss of death, all the time. Like,
we'll start hearing the tears.
Landon's eyes is gonna open, like,
be like,
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm gonna go down there and fuck some shit up. That's what he's
sure about that?
Yeah. All right, Vikings at Panthers. I'll go first on this one. Vikings. This is literally season is over if you go 0-4. I don't care.
I would like to know who's playing quarterback for the Panthers. It was Dalton. I feel like would be the Panthers, but give me the Vikings. Give me the Vikings.
It could very well be Dalton. Steelers at Texans.
Steelers.
This one's not as easy for me. I feel like
grow. I would say grow a pair, but I know that's rude. So grow one. Balls.
You need to clarify. Do I need to grow an additional one, or does my existing one need to grow larger? Don't be insensitive, you prick. You know what? Fuck you. Houston Texans. I'm a believer in D'Amico Ryans and what they're doing down there right now. My wife, she knows what's up, dude. She sits in this house and hears me go on Sundays. All right. Raiders, Chargers. You guys have to win this game. I'll go first. I'm saying Chargers. You have to win this game.
I'm scared that Garoppolo is not going to play, and then their backup is going to play, O'Connell, and then he's going to beat them.
Listen, if you guys lose to the backup in Las Vegas.
This is what we major in, Weston. The Chargers major in losing to backup quarterbacks. Remember when Ben Roethlisberger got hurt with the Steelers? And a decrepit Michael Vick, like this was not prime Michael Vick.
Yeah, one-legged Michael Vick
went in to San Diego. Yes, it was San Diego at the time, and they defeated the Chargers. I will say Chargers. Don't ever feel good. Whenever I pick the Chargers, people, I don't ever feel good about it. It's always like
totally get this.
Yeah.
Pats boys in Dallas.
Oof. I'm still not a believer in this Patriots offense.
Yeah,
and I think the Cowboys needed to get that wake up call. And I know there's all this talk saying that Ezekiel Elliott, knows the hand signals of the Cowboy.
He didn't know him when he was on the team. What are you talking about? He knows him when he's off the
Zeke
team.
looked good last week.
I know. Let's not get carried away here,
Just
right?
saying,
Like,
just saying.
I think Parsons is going to feast in this game.
Yeah.
So your boys?
Yeah, I'm going Cowboys.
All right. Cardinals at Niners. I'll start it. I feel the same way you do every time I pick my team, but
come on.
how can I not? No, and here's why, dude. Like, we talked about it earlier with the Cardinals. Every team, like, they're just gonna like they are a trap game waiting to happen, which is an oxymoron when we talk about a divisional opponent. Steve Wilkes, our defense coordinator, is literally suing the Arizona Cardinals from his tenure. Like, you got Gannon, their head coach, out there putting things, literally got caught on film in the parking lot by some fan telling them that they were going to stomp the 49ers. So the bulletin board material is there. But when you play with a team that has nothing to lose and is playing with house money, it's a very dangerous proposition.
That being said, give me the Niners.
Yeah, exactly. Niners by 1 million. All right, Chiefs at Jets. Sunday night game. This was meant to be Mahomes versus Rodgers.
That's why. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
And I'm going to say something that Jeff fans are not going to want to hear. But if it was Rodgers, I was going to say, I think the Jets would have won this game easily. But yeah. I just don't think. Let me tell you why.
Hold on. I think this is the biggest cop out in the world that people are like, with Rodgers, they would have been this, they would have been that.
I disagree. You're putting so much pressure on that defense. They're always on the field because your offense gets to sustain a drive.
No, I know. I get it. Like, they'd be more competent, but like, God, it must be nice to be Aaron Rodgers. I played 4 snaps for a fucking team. I haven't really done much for my own team in the last few years other than walk through a cakewalk of a division and then see early exits in the playoffs. And like, I'm sitting back and I'm God's greatest gift, and I played 4 freaking snaps for a team that notoriously has had good players and shits the bed time and time and time again. The Jets are a shit organization, dude.
I get it, but let me tell you what, from like just like on-field play, this is the type of defense that the Chiefs have struggle with.
I will agree with that.
4 rushers, sit back type of thing, and they can get home. That being said, I don't know why we're talking so much about this.
It's the Chiefs all day. I don't even know why. It just gave me another.
We're trying to make something that's not there.
Express my hatred for Aaron Rodgers, and candidly, the New York. Like, I feel bad for New York Jet fans. I really do. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think it was going to change as much as.
I don't feel bad. I go through the same shit every year as they do.
But you're right about this defense, because this defense, especially when Saleh was in charge of that defense, for majority of games, we gave Patrick Mahomes-led Chiefs a problem,
Similar defense, not, it derives from Gus Bradley, too, when the Chargers played the Chiefs. He kept them in check. He kept them in check for the most part, because they try to eliminate the big plays. Now, obviously, you can't stop the big plays. You can just, limit them. But, so that being said, I mean, I don't know why I spent so much time. It's Chiefs.
I bring this comment up because I'm taking a shot here right now. This is like a 4-piece nugget. You're a grown adult, dude. My 5-year-old son eats a 6-piece chicken nugget Happy Meal. So I'm glad you got your 5, but I think you need to move up to the 10-piece, brother.
I'm not going to throw my daughter under the bus and saying that she orders the number 3. No, I'm joking. She does it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, last game, which I will be in attendance at. Monday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks at the New York Football Giants.
Seattle won last week?
They did.
Give me the Giants.
Kenneth Walker was the NFL Offensive Player of the Week. If you
give me the Giants.
Are you serious?
Give me a little help. Yeah. Seattle isn't. I mean, Seattle. You're going to Seattle?
Oh, I'm going Seattle all day.
Yeah, I'm going G-Men. Seattle doesn't travel so well. Hopefully, Barkley. They had some Barkley. I feel good about the Giants.
All right. We'll see how it goes. We got 3 games different. Let's throw this up there. Dexter, appreciate you, man. I know what we're talking about. Go get them.
Guys, you're gonna make me vomit, guys.
No, listen, I'll take Niner love all day, every day. All right, Lou, that wraps us up. Week 3 coverage, forecasting week 4. All that being said, remind the listeners where they can find us.
You find us at WTF Pod NFL on Instagram and X. That was hard for me to say. I'm yeah, not Twitter. It's X.
Are we doing this? We're making that transition to actually calling what its new thing is, because it's still
It sounds so
Twitter.
No, it's
like,
X.
I was at my kid's parent, what do you call it, back to school night, and the teachers put up on a slide, and they called it Twitter. They have Twitter handles. Teachers have freaking Twitter handles now, dude.
As long as they don't have OnlyFans, I think you're good.
I'm gonna wake my kids up. That was good. Look, we got to end there because that was it right there. That's how we get out of this show. Lou, a lot of fun tonight. Love doing this. Love doing it live too for the lovely individuals who stuck with us and are leaving comments. We love you. We appreciate you. Please keep this energy coming week over week, but we will be back in short order to recap what we saw and what we predicted in week 4, and start to forward look for week 5. But until that time, enjoy the game. Grandma, Ma, I'll see you next week.